I'm Dr. Kristen R. Bromley. This video series, which is part of my online music academy, specifically accompanies Note Reading Book 3 from my Method book series. Like all my books, this selection is available to purchase through Amazon and Google Play. For help, see the links in the description below. In the videos which are part of this specific course, I progress through the lessons in Note Reading Book 3. With the book, you can work through all the songs and exercises, and in the process come to know the entire fretboard and master the skill of playing written notes all along the neck. Alright, let's get to jamming in this lesson. Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome back. This video goes with Lesson 14 in Note Reading Book 3. So in this lesson, we're talking about the keys of D flat major and B flat minor. Now this works a lot like Lesson 12 versus Lesson 11. In Lesson 12, we looked at G flat major and E flat minor, and we then compared them and even used the exercises from Lesson 11, which was G major and E minor. And this is the same way. We're going to look at D flat major and B flat minor in comparison to D major and B minor, which is what we covered in the last lesson. Now, it may seem strange to jump into a key that has 5 flats. We were just working on a key with 2 sharps. But I've got these next to each other because really, as I've explained in previous lessons with Lesson 12 and Lesson 11, we read very similarly in the 2 keys. We just have to be associating in our mind whether we're in the position reading D flat or in the position reading D major. D flat major versus D major. So let's look at it. There's an explanation on page 116 and 117 in the book. This gives us directions. To practice using this, we actually have to use the exercises from the previous lesson. So lesson 13, and we just changed the key signature. So we changed the key signature from having 2 sharps to having 5 flats, and we can work on the D flat major key and the B flat minor key. And it works just fine. Some of you may want to just skip this lesson, and that's okay. Come back to it later. Or maybe you're just jumping into it because you need to work on the key of D flat major. We tend to read in this key less, but there are times when we actually have to read in it. So instead of making the book be extremely large, it's already quite large, you can just reuse the exercises from the previous lesson, but in this new key signature. Let me just walk you through, as a reminder, some of these things here. So we have the single octave exercises. So we have the single octave scales. So D flat major on the low 6th string, we can play form 1 with our middle finger on the 9th fret, and we'll play D flat major. We can also play form 1 using the D flat that's at the 4th fret of the 5th string. Form 1. We're going to jump an octave higher, but we've got a D flat on the 4th string at the 11th fret. And then in that same octave, but on the 3rd string at the 6th fret, we've got D flat major there with form 1. Now with form 2, we could put our pinky on the D flat on the 6th string, which is at that 9th fret. We'll be in 6th position and then 5th position to play form 2. We also can play form 2 with our pinky on the D flat that's at the 4th fret of the 5th string. And we can play D flat with our pinky on the 11th fret of the 4th string. Sorry, when I make sure I said 4th fret of the 5th string with that form down in 1st position, and then 11th fret with our pinky on the 4th string to play it up here. And then we would reuse the exercises, the single octave exercises for the major scale to practice reading with those ones. With the minor, B flat minor, we've got our index finger with form 1 on the B flat at the 6th fret on that 6th string. And that's the only form 1 we can do in that octave, but well, that's not true actually. We can go down to 1st position and play the B flat, 1st fret, 5th string. We can also do it an octave higher at the 13th fret. we got the B flat on the 4th string that's at the 8th fret. And we've got the B flat on the 3rd string at the 3rd fret. So we've got all those options for scale form 1. Then if we do scale form 2, we'll put our pinky on the B flat at the 6th fret. And then this one we can only do, we go up the octave with our pinky on the 5th string at the 13th fret. And we can put our pinky on the 8th fret on the 4th string and play form 1. And we can read with all of those using the exercises from the previous lesson. Okay, so if we go look over at page 117, then we've got these 5 positional forms, these 5 positional areas. If we look at it really from the perspective of D flat major, our pinky starts on that D flat on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And we've got D flat major with form 2. And we've got part of form 1 on top. And we go back down, form 2. We got part of form 1 on the bottom. So that is that first position, and of course B flat would start with our 1st fret, but it's the exact same notes. The next position, we have our middle finger on the D flat. We're in 3rd position and 4th position. So we're going to start with scale form 1, then we have part of scale form 2, then we back to scale form 1, and then part of scale form 2. So we have of course, if we started with our pinky, we'd be playing B flat minor instead. The next position we have, we've got our pinky on the D flat, 9th fret of the 6th string. We start with scale form 2, then we go to scale form 1, back to scale form 2, and just a teeny bit of scale form 1 there on the bottom. And of course, B flat, we would start with the 6th fret on the 6th string. Then we got our middle finger on the 9th fret of the 6th string for D flat major, starting with scale form 1 in position 8. Then we go to scale form 2. We have just 2 notes with that scale form 1, and then we're back to scale form 2, back to scale form 1, and just the 2 notes there on the bottom of scale form 2. Then up the octave, as far as the root goes, on the 4th string at the 11th fret, we've got D flat there, starting with scale form 1. And then we've got scale form 2, back with scale form 1, then a piece of scale form 2. So, and then if we want to go higher, we start over again in position 13 with the same one we had down here in 1st position. And so everything just starts over. Now I didn't mention B flat minor when I was in the previous one, and I should have. So we start with our pinky on that 13th fret of the 5th string, and we've got B flat minor. So then we would use the songs and exercises, and there's directions here back from the previous lesson to read. I'm not going to play through all of them, but I will just give us a little bit of practice with this together to make sure you've kind of got it going. So if you turn to page 99, where we have the D major single octave scale exercise, we'd be using our single octave exercises as scales to play this one. And if we change the key signature from D major to D flat major, then the only difference between what we're doing, so in theory this is actually really easy, but sometimes when we're actually reading them it gets a little bit tricky to do. But all we're doing is sliding our hand down by 1 position to play in D flat major versus D major, but the notes on the page are situated in the same place, and the notes as far as where they fit in the scale system are in the same place. So I explained that in lesson 11 before, but we're going to go ahead lesson 12. I explained that in lesson 12 in relation to lesson 11. We're going to go ahead though and look at it here with the D major, just scale form 1 You could play it with scale form 2. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and play it with scale form 1 with my middle finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And I'm just going to play that exercise right here. And so with the change in key signature, I'm in 3rd and 4th position. Well, really just 3rd position with the single octave. If it was the whole position, playing all the notes that were there, then I would go up a little bit to position 4. But that differs from having played it in 4th position for D major. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. You got 1 and 2 and ready and go and... Okay, and it's just that easy. So lots of ways to practice with the key of D flat just by using those songs and exercises from lesson 13. Now, it's okay to also skip the key of D flat. It can be kind of tricky to do this. It just kind of depends on what you want to work on, what you need to work on. Use that book the way that it helps you with your goals and the things that you need to do with note reading and mastering the neck. I wish you the best and take care. We'll see you next time. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For help with other guitar playing skills, check out more of my method books and the numerous lessons available as part of my online academy here on YouTube. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.